Yes, sir. My Tricker. Back up in this thing, man. Today, we'll be breaking down some creepy videos that are hard to ignore. Let's get it.
I retire someday. They say, that guy made this place a special place to come to school and gave as much as he could to help the community.
I know this might just be a coincidence, but BlackRock already has enough bad PR as it is, so this just adds insult to injury. I know Larry Fink is scrambling trying to sweep this under the rug.
Y'all, this is insane. If this does not wake you up to the times that we're living in, I don't know what will. People choose to remain ignorant. Right after the pew pew attempt in Philadelphia, it literally snowed. 90 degrees and it snowed in the summer. Y'all, this is freaking impossible. And there's many articles that are saying it, that it technically did snow in Philadelphia. Breaks a 154-year-old record. But there's an organization out there that's trying to take away the miraculousness of what happened. While most things say it did for sure happen, CBS News with the eye says, did it snow in Philadelphia? Not really, but here's what really happened. Even crazier, at the same time, coincidentally, we had a record-breaking temperature at 144. If you get it, you do. If you don't, you don't. That's insane. And I found something very, very weird. If you ask AI about the whole scenario that happened a few days ago, it will tell you it cannot assist you with that. That's gotta make you think. We are literally living in an unprecedented time like never before, and here's proof. This was 4 days ago I took in Walmart. It's never been like this. This is crazy.
I'm pretty sure the snow in Philadelphia was technically a hailstorm, but the National Weather Service still considers that snow. So definitely strange, but as far as the 144-degree temperatures in Dubai the other day, I would not be able to handle that. You could probably cook an over-easy egg and some bacon in the middle of the pavement at that temperature.
I've never seen this a day in my life. It's still alive.
I would probably still buy it just to set the toad free, but they really meant it when they said organic. It has a whole living organism in it.
So there's this company that was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And last year, a year ago, across the nation, they released 50,000 genetically modified mosquitoes. For what purpose? I don't know. I didn't do that much research. But now, for the first time in 20 years, malaria has entered Florida.
Malaria.
Get it like a lot in like Africa and stuff.
The conspiracy is the new mosquitoes that he introduced were, or I say he, the company introduced, were supposed to mosquitoes that carried malaria. And so they were specifically designed to combat those diseases.
But we haven't had a case of malaria in the U.S. in over 20 years. And since they released these mosquitoes, so far from what I know, there's been 5 cases of malaria. 4 in Florida and 1 in Texas.
So if the big mosquito project had a complete opposite effect as intended, how does he think we feel about the artificial meat that he's been pushing? Big Bill needs to get it together.
New footage of Bohemian Grove has just been released, and this is the highest quality footage that you will ever see. A full video will be released soon, but just watch this.
Shout out to the person who snuck in and captured this footage in 4K, but I feel like Bohemian Grove is like the elite's version of an anime convention with all the robes and torches.
Doesn't Tinkerbell fly over the Disney castle at the beginning of the movies, like the intro to Disney movies? And in the old movies, she flies over the castle and then comes and dots the I in the word Disney. Well, Disney is saying that that is not true. That's never been an intro to a single Disney movie. But I remember she would fly over the castle, and that's her pixie dust going over the castle, and she flies up and dots the I in Disney. And Disney's saying it never happened. And then I go look at all the intros to Disney movies, and it doesn't happen in a single intro. Am I wrong? I'm not going crazy. I swear, other people have seen this, and they are saying that it's a Mandela effect. We're in a different timeline. I mean, don't y'all remember this? How can you say that that was not Tinkerbell? That was the intro to Disney movies. And for them to say that it never happened, This is definitely a different timeline.
I feel like I vividly remember the Tinkerbell intro where she would fly over the castle and dot the I. Maybe not for all movies, but definitely some, and for the Wonderful World of Disney TV show where they would play some movies. But let me know what you guys remember about this one.
Show Alpha House, and I'm running for office again, and there's a big bus, and it had like a 10-foot picture of my face on it. Just, oh. It made me want to go back to Satan worship. Well, I think it worked for me. It got me a career.
In his most recent show, The Righteous Gemstones, he plays Eli Gemstone, which is the pastor of a megachurch. So this is ironic, but it makes sense why Roseanne picked him to play the dad on her show for so long. They were probably backstage doing rituals together.
And when I was 12 years old, I signed a deal with Satan in my room.
Well, there I was, judging for thinking that there were cameras in the birds, but here I am going through the CIA's declassified documents, and there are cameras in the birds. So here I am scrolling through and I see, what is that? Bird camera program? Alright. What is the literal first sentence? Technical collection team has been formed to demonstrate the operational utility of the avian asset. As a part of this effort, a new bird camera has been designed, which weighs less than the old one, and which uses a 16mm film with motion compensation instead of the 9mm size. So we were doing this like way back in the day in 1976 when we were still using film. And so I continue scrolling down and they continued this. This was something they updated multiple times and continued to fund. Just in 1976, or from when I can find these documents, they funded almost $1 million into this program. And you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me that they couldn't do similar stuff today? Look at that camera. That's obvious as but this was in the 70s. And I'll leave you with something else that might give you some spooks. This article in Redacted is factually reliable and presents a reasonable picture of some aspects of the field of electrical brain stimulation from the layman's point of view. After our experiments at the Redacted had demonstrated the practical feasibility of electrical brain stimulation as a guidance technique. And that would be all well and good until you scroll down to the bottom of this last page. We feel we are close to having debugged a prototype system whereby dogs can be guided along specific courses through land areas, out of sight and at some distance from the operator. The purpose being to completely redacted. And then we get down to this bottom sentence. Dr. Redacted is taking appropriate action to exploit our knowledge in this area and provide adequate background for the development of future agency applications in the general areas of influencing human behavior, indirect assessment, and interrogation aids. So I will leave you with that. The birds work for the CIA, and this was on the first couple pages. The first couple pages I opened. I've been on here for 30 minutes.
If this was in 1976, they most likely already perfected this technology and have thousands, if not millions, in circulation right now. So I'm starting to believe in the birds aren't a real conspiracy. I would be hurt to find out that this is the reason why our taxes are so high.
Neuralink just released a video yesterday, and it's just insane that it won't be long
before someone with a Neuralink device can communicate faster than someone who has a fully functional body. And the goal is to give people superpowers. A way to think about the Neuralink device is kind of like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch with tiny wires or electrodes. Those tiny wires are implanted in the brain and they read and write electrical signals. Our first product is telepathy, which enables a person with a Neuralink implant to control their phone or computer just by thinking. And once you can control your phone or computer, you can essentially control almost anything.
It may allow you to control any device now, but I'm sure one flip of the switch and it can control you too. The Neuralink is starting to sound a little too Mark of the Beast like. Either this is a species of pigeon I just never learned about, or they have a wicked case of acid reflux. This is the definition of poking your chest out.
Scientists discovered tunnel on the moon. Honestly, I thought it was clickbait too, but then I started to read. Scientists discovered tunnel on the moon. There is a big tunnel on the moon, and we can't be 100% sure how it got there, but it could be a handy place for humans to live, provided there are no aliens inside. So what do you all think? Do you think this is just a lava flow tunnel? Or is it a possible underground exit or entrance to a civilization on the moon.
If only we hadn't somehow destroyed the Apollo 11 technology that got us to the moon in the 60s, we would easily be able to send astronauts to the moon to explore this. But now our latest technology is the Boeing spacecraft, and we know that's not going to make it.
Like, never tell. What is this fish? What is that? That is not no fish.
I don't know what species of fish this is, but judging by that water quality, it might be a radioactive tadpole.
They set off to Bouvet Island with all the electronics working until they weren't.
There was some amazing lightning over there.
But was it lightning?
It was right around there. Oh, it was pretty close, actually.
Oh dear. Couldn't be an EMP, could it?
No, then we're not moving forward anymore.
No, surely not. An EMP would knock out electronics.
No power supply anymore, or the electronic fails completely.
Was someone trying to thwart their trip to the most remote uninhabited island on planet Earth? Bouvet, as the Norwegians say. They landed and were greeted by friends. But back to work, off to reach the top of the island to plant a time capsule. But wait, a storm snowed them out, and they almost fell into this. What's this on Bouvet Island? There's more to this tale than meets the eye.
If they really went through all of this trouble to reach Bouvet Island, at the very least they could have sent a drone down that hole to see what's in there, if not rappelled down themselves to explore.
At this point, y'all cannot tell me this is normal. This is not normal, y'all. The events that's been taking place in 2024 is at an all-time high. Like, this is off the scale. Like this video and repost.
This entire line here. This is interesting. This is interesting. In our studio right now, we're getting instructions from the building telling us to leave our workplace.
He know this ain't normal either. Look, y'all, look.
Large tornado confirmed on the ground. Is that it on the right-hand side? Let's give it a second here. So hard to make it.
I believe that's moving slowly,
like
yes.
Trying to spin and rotate. This could be the very large tornado on the ground.
What a time to be alive.
I know it's tornado season, but 10 tornadoes on the ground at once doesn't feel normal to me. Somebody at Heart must have been messing with the settings this week.
They always mention doors, but never what's behind them.
It's like thinking about what's behind the door. So, like, you know what I'm saying? When I'm in the room, it's like, damn, it's another room. So I just keep going in different rooms. So
one of them times I open the door, I'm going to be afraid.
Yeah, we never had access to that sort of information.
I call it the room with the door behind it. You never get to that door. We always got through the first door, and we were so excited about being in that room that we never looked at the next door, right?
It's a level of success where it's a door. When you platinum and you're getting 50,000 a show, I've been there. There's a door that you can walk in. But I was offered these doors. I just chose to go straight. And I haven't been platinum since.
There's a curtain. There's another room, and there's a curtain. And in that room is some shit. You're like, God damn, I didn't know y'all doing this back here.
You guys recognize Jim here? He hints towards what happens behind these doors.
You know, let me tell you something about celebrities. And let me tell you something about some big sports stars. If you honestly knew what some of your favorite big superstars really did behind closed doors, if you really knew what your favorite radio star, TV star, newscaster truly did behind closed doors, none of us are perfect. We all do weird things. We're all freaky and weird and crazy. But if you knew, you wouldn't follow. people. You wouldn't listen.
I have no idea what's behind these doors, but judging by the meteoric rise of Kevin Hart's career and how much he seems to know about it, he probably went through one.
I don't think you guys are ready for this one. I'm just gonna show you guys some pictures and I'm gonna let you come to your own conclusion here. Why have all of these pictures been removed from any history book, any text, anything? These people are like 8 to 9 feet tall. If you've never heard of Tartaria, please look it up. Tartaria is a country that was originally in Russia, and they have completely wiped it out of all textbooks. Tartaria was like the most advanced civilization of all time. And look at these doorways. Don't they look just abnormally massive? Tartaria would use these things on the left as their electricity conductors, and now we have these things. Here it's shown in more detail. They're still around today. They're just not used for their original purpose. These are Tartarian structures. You just simply do not see architecture like this made anymore. Is it because we're not smart enough, or is it because we're lazy and we're trying to get rid of art and culture, all things beautiful? There's a crazy conspiracy that says that there was a giant mud flood that has covered up thousands of years of history. I don't know about that, but it's interesting to think about. But back to the tall people. Why are all of these pictures gone? We know for certain, if you look up the world's tallest man, I'm sure something will come up. These genetics have to be in there somewhere. There's giant weapons found throughout all of Earth, like a giant knife, giant swords, giant books, giant architecture, giant doors for maybe giants.
And the giants in these photos look like they would even tower over the 7-foot NBA players we have today, like they're descendants of the Nephilim. So maybe that's what they were trying to cover up.
3-step symbolism. The Marshall Mathers LP, he has the 3 steps. Masonic symbolism for the first 3 degrees. In baseball, created on a Masonic compass, 3 strikes, you're out. He's on the 3-step. Even this statue of George Washington's on the 3 steps. But in the Masonic symbolism, it's the 3 steps, then it goes into the ladder, all the other steps. And you can see in the music video, it starts with him on the 3 steps, and it transforms into the ladder. This is esoteric symbolism.
This new Eminem album might just be his Freemason coming out party with all this symbolism. He must have just reached a new degree.
I ain't never experienced nothing like this. So as we driving back to base, I swear I seen a face in the rearview mirror.
This creepy video is going viral right now, and it comes from TikTok user Japri. I'll tag him below. And after recently becoming an EMT, him and his partner are driving down the road when he sees a face in the rearview mirror. Feeling creeped out, they quickly pull over, and that's when he begins to record. That is, until he summons up the courage to go back to the ambulance and get the key so they can get out of there. And this is what happens. Take a look. He drops his phone in a panic after a loud bang can be heard coming from the back. After a few moments, he grabs his phone, but what happens next is truly terrifying.
I don't know if you see it, but can y'all see that back door? Like it just flew open. Like, can y'all? Oh. Nah, what the? What was that? Can y'all see it? Nah, nah.
I can't really tell if this clip is legit or not, but at the end I did see something flash across the back window. I'm just confused why he didn't drive straight back to the station instead of pulling into this creepy alleyway. I feel like that would make the situation much worse. You can tell he never seen any horror films.
So I am utterly confused by something that is coming out of the world of Alexa. There are voices coming from this contraption that I can't explain. So this is just a little bit of what people are recording from Alexa that they didn't prompt.
Something else spoke right after that. It didn't recognize the voice. And there was some other thingy after that as well. The voice. Mysterious voice.
What the heck is that?
It's a drop-in.
I don't think that there are any ghosts or any spirits haunting. The Alexa app has the drop-in feature, and I believe that you can utilize that app to kind of simulate sounds.
Can security for an Alexa be so lax that it's so penetrable that somebody from afar could drop in and maybe not even say something, but silently listen to?
That's really frightening.
The idea behind these programs is that they're supposed to be listening all of the time, because if you say Siri at any moment, it needs to know that you've said, "Hey Siri," or "Hey Alexa." They're programmed by us to be flexible enough to identify you at all times.
Is there more to Alexa's programming that we could consider to be sentient? How much do we actually know of the AI that goes into Alexa?
AI doesn't mean that it can think for itself. That's a whole different level of programming that we have not accomplished at all. Everything that AI does is by our programming. It doesn't jump and it doesn't land unless we tell it to do.
Yeah, but what if Amazon is programming it to do weird things that we don't?
That would be more likely than it thinking.
If this was me, then Alexa would be laughing it up at the landfill because I would cut the cord instantly.
Fossil centipede was found 8.5 feet long. That's a big centipede. Fossil grasshoppers 2 feet long have been found fossilized. Fossil cattails 60 feet tall. Fossil donkey 9 feet high at the shoulder. Fossil buffalo with 12-foot horn span. Fossil beaver 8 foot long. I talked to the guy that found the beaver jaw. There's this Jim Urban, his phone number right there. Look, folks, if you have bigger trees, you need bigger beavers to chew them down. A 1-inch shark's tooth indicates about a 12 to 15-foot shark. You know, they find fossil shark's teeth indicating sharks probably were 80 feet long before the flood. Now, if you have more air pressure, that puts more gases into the water, which means bigger fish can survive and more fish per square foot can survive. So it's a different world before the flood. Turtles have been found that are huge by today's standards. Gigantic turtles. And birds, 13 feet tall, have been found. And lizards grew to be huge. Because reptiles never stop growing. A reptile grows all his life. I wonder what the reptiles would look like if you could put them back in the Garden of Eden before the flood came, give them double the air pressure, infinite food supply, no enemies, as we'll see in a minute, and let them live to be 900 years old.
A beaver that big makes me think that those mountains that look like giant petrified trees that's been cut down were actually trees, because I can imagine that as their food source shrinks, they also shrink, and a normal sized poplar would be like a toothpick to an 8-foot beaver.
This is the stuff of nightmares that's like straight out of the early 2000s, and it has a lot to do with the dark web. Sometime around 2004, when people were just starting to explore what would later be known as the dark web, they would talk about a woman that would show up on your screen, except it wasn't a woman. It was a distorted mask of a woman's face. And what this person would do is that they would recite your full name and your address and then say, "I'm coming for you." And then the whole screen would go dark.
A woman? That looks like the ghost of Michael Jackson. That would make me never want to surf the dark web again.
Can any of you all tell me why my phone started to wig out and make the moon phase out in circles like this? Has anyone dealt with this before? Has anyone seen this before? Because I want some answers, because I was actually mind blown by this and laughing at the same time. It did this for like a good 30 minutes. Not only that, it made the lensing system so smooth, it's not even funny.
There could be something wrong with the camera sensor, but it's almost like his phone knew he was trying to record the moon and started glitching out, so he couldn't, like it was programmed that way.
Or heard a loud boom this afternoon, you were not alone. People across 6 states reported feeling the impacts of what NASA now describes as a meteor. And tonight, News 4's Chucky Beckford explains how close that fireball came to Midtown Manhattan.
The sky over New York City already attracts plenty of attention, but today,
I don't know if we really had to ever think about that in the New York area.
People were looking up at more than the skyscrapers.
You have to have one bright enough, and it has to be right over New York to get all that attention.
Scientist Bill Cook, who leads NASA's Meteoroid Environments Office, is talking about a fireball, one bright enough to be seen in daylight.
Daytime fireballs are fairly rare, and New Yorkers got to see one this this morning.
And boy, did they get an eyeful.
I got up. I'm looking like this for about 3 seconds. It was like almost horizontal.
Judah Bergman's Lakewood, New Jersey office surveillance video shows him getting out of his chair and rushing to the window.
It just caught my eye. I saw a fireball just streaming through the sky. I couldn't believe it.
He turned to the place where many of us go for answers, the internet.
I looked up pictures on Google, and that's pretty much what I saw.
Some witnesses claim that space rock charted a picture-perfect course right above Lady Liberty's head. NASA scientists, though, say they're not quite sure. Cook says they have only 15 documented witnesses. The fireball was first spotted over New York Harbor, but where it went next...
We lack camera data and satellite data for this event. I'm just going off what the eyewitnesses said. So I can tell you it was definitely a meteor. It moved about 34,000 miles per hour, and it ended up over Midtown Manhattan. Anything else is pretty uncertain.
And despite accounts like that of Travis Fetchin, who was in his Secaucus office,
and I just hear this boom, and all of our windows shook.
Cook is confident the approximately 1 foot wide meteor did not cause the sonic booms reported by some. Jackie Beckford reporting, News 4, New York.
It's a little concerning that NASA based their opinion of what this was off of eyewitness testimony. They should be the ones telling us what this is, but clearly my boy didn't have a clue.
So I got this chicken from Target, and no, I did not put forks in it, even though it looks like it. And look how it's boiling, like they injected it with something. It's actually a big chicken breast, but like, nah, something right with the chicken, y'all.
I'm getting my full refund if this was me. Chicken is not supposed to have acne.
Christy, can you show me your hair right now? Good job. Can you touch your favorite tool? Definitely the REM pod. Can you turn that off? Can you turn it back on? Good job. Can you hold it down in your favorite color, honey? It's black, but you said green. And green, black and green. Wow, that's going really fast. The sweep rate. Were you in the army? You can use these words in this app to communicate anything you want to me. Are you able to piece them together to tell me how you passed away? Ammo? Is somebody SHOOT you? Yeah. Are you 28? Christy, how can I help you? Is there anything you want to tell me right now?
I know the caption said that this is the nicest spirit ever, but after seeing long legs, I don't trust any dolls anymore.
A few blocks away from each other up at the Baird Center here in Milwaukee, and we'll see you in person just a bit, but I think that this message tonight is the one that...
Amazon Prime Day has their drivers risking it all to make these deliveries. Next Prime Day, I'm staying off the roads and the sidewalks apparently. But that was the video, guys. Don't forget to sub up, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.